Ladies, gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today, my friends, we are jumping back into the world of Call of Duty Warzone, and not gonna lie, we're kind of changing things up today, all right? Of course, all throughout the year, we've gone over a lot of loadouts, a lot of tips and tricks, a lot of things to help you guys get better at Warzone, and hopefully, it's helped a few of you out, right? But today, we're gonna sort of change things up and do a gameplay breakdown of what I would say is probably my best Warzone gameplay to date. Now, that said, this is by no means like my highest kill gameplay ever in Warzone, not even close. We still drop a lot of kills, we still get a lot of action throughout this gameplay, but just the way that we approach the engagements, the way that we plan our rotations, pretty much everything about this gameplay shouldn't have gone right, but somehow, some way, it did. And truly, it's an insane gameplay. So today I figured we'd go ahead, we'd break it down and sort of show what's going through my mind as I approach certain engagements, as we approach certain rotations, and just how you can sort of apply certain aspects and certain elements that you want to focus on into your own gameplay as well. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video. If you do, drop a like on it, give it a big old thumbs up. And of course, if you guys are new here, we are on the road to 600,000 subscribers. We're always covering the latest Call of Duty news, intel updates, tips and tricks, everything Call of Duty. You're gonna find it right here. So feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. We're starting off now. Typically, my go-to landing spots are either hangars or superstore. But in this game, you guys can see this guy started shooting at me. So my goal was, I'm gonna get revenge on this guy. He's gonna mess up my drop path. I'm gonna try and go for him. Is this the smartest idea? Probably not, unless you like are forced to try and engage on somebody who's shooting you out of the sky. I wouldn't typically recommend it because it is gonna mess up your drop path. So we ended up landing in like the middle of the grass here, in the middle of the street. He grabs a car. I'm thinking, oh, this game's already chalked, right? Luckily, somehow, some way, Lazy and I put some team shots onto this guy. I break his armor. I'm able to knock him out the car. My first instinct is, this guy tried to shoot me out of the sky. I'm going to finish him. Luckily, I was able to get this off. I'm in the middle of the road. You guys can see this guy behind me there. If we rewind this a bit, as I'm doing this finisher, we have an enemy in the background here, right? So this guy lands. I assume that's his teammate. I'm finishing this guy in the middle of the street. He's probably livid. He wants to get revenge on me. So of course, his first instinct is to go for me. Keep in mind though, this is the very start of the match. We all got nothing but pistols. So truly at this point, I'm not really tied to this game whatsoever. If I die, I die. I'm going on to the next one. But shout out to the guy who tried to finish me in the sky. He gave me a car. I see these guys behind me. I'm able to actually run them over somehow. And then Lazy's over here. Somehow that the guy who landed late didn't attack Lazy. He didn't go for him. So now I'm chasing this guy down. I'm able to run him down. And then he's got a buddy here as well. I'm able to squish him. And somehow, miraculously, in probably the worst landing, we landed in the middle of a field, in the middle of a street. We have 4 kills and there's only 16 guys down out of this game. So that's a start there that truly, I don't understand how we did it. It kind of just worked out in our favor. Really weird series of events, but basically, start of the game all comes down to RNG. You want to land somewhere hot if you're going for kills. You got to hope you get some good weapons, and if you don't, you kind of got to adapt to that situation. Luckily, everything played out in our favor here, but truly, that is a situation where luck was on our side, and somehow, some way, we managed to get out unscathed. All right, now at this point, we've got a little bit of loot, we've got some guns, we got a little bit of money, nowhere near a loadout. We see this guy on the ATV. Obviously, it goes back to white, so he jumps out. I know he's around here. I assume he knows where we are. I always assume the enemies know where we are. Luckily, that's just an engagement I'm able to win. I had the Bruin from the ground loot, probably one of the best ground loot weapons you can get. That's just a simple gunfight. But then I got this other team trying to third party. First instinct, got to run inside, got to heal up. I want to have full armor. I have no idea what they have, but they definitely have the advantage on me there just because they know where I'm at. I'm not too sure where they are. Luckily, Lazy's able to pick off one of them. I'm able to clean up the kill there. Lazy's able to clean up the kill. Now, at this stage, it's basically all about just trying to control your surroundings. We have now a random solo on the backside of us. We got this other guy up here in the plane. He actually ends up knocking Lazy here, so now my focus is to try and make sure he doesn't finish Lazy. Obviously, we'd rather not waste that Gulag opportunity. And luckily, just because of the engagement here, I can actually see his feet underneath the bottom of the plane. Then we got another third party coming in hot. I assume at the time this is the guy that we just killed over there in hangars. This is his teammate rolling up on us here. Unfortunately, he does take down Lazy, and then he runs from me. I'm not sure why he doesn't engage there. This is just an awkward engagement in general, right? I misthrow my C4. It sticks at the top of the tractor there. I have no ammo in my Bruin. Missed the first shot on the car. Then luckily, that guy didn't push me. To be honest, I don't really know what exactly was going through his head there. By all means, he should have pushed me. For whatever reason, he didn't. And once again, luck being on our side, we somehow managed to get out of that with one of us alive. Unfortunately, Lazy goes to the Gulag, but I got confidence in him. He's going to win that. And then we're basically just on to trying to get our loadout in this stage of the game. All right, so scratch that. Lazy actually didn't end up winning his Gulag, but of course, I got enough money to buy him back. It's $4,000 to get him back. That's pretty easy. I got plenty of cash there. Then we're just resetting, trying to go back for that loadout. But in this situation, as you guys will see here, I start to get shot at in the back. And this is another team that I have no idea on their whereabouts. Basically, when I want to go into an engagement, I want to have all the information I can possibly have, right? I want to know how many guys there are. If I can tell what guns they have, that's going to be great. And of course, their positioning is going to be huge too. So here I'm going to go ahead, buy back Lazy, just in case it's going to be the fail safe in case I end up going down, which, spoiler alert, this guy gets the jump on me. He headshots me as I'm falling back off that wall there. I go down, he's going to come in and finish me. And that's just really a lack of knowledge there. I didn't know exactly where he was pushing from. And by the time I mounted up on that wall, he was already aimed down sights. He knew exactly where I was. He had that information advantage there. But then we go ahead into the Gulag. Gulag area's out here. We don't lose these, especially with the Ram. Got the good advantage there. Saw him crossover. That's a pretty easy Gulag win. But before we exit out of this Gulag here, I do want to point out something that I pretty much try and do every single time I go into a Gulag. Doesn't matter which variation of the actual prison area it is. But basically, what I want to try and do is hold down one of these side angles here. You guys can see now, I've made my way up. Obviously, he's not on this left side here. I don't see him crossover, so I've got the information there. He's not on that left side. And then from this angle here on this sort of mid-heady, I can see if he's pushing out that mid lane there. And so I have 2/3 of the map on lock. And obviously, if I can't see him, that of course means he's going to be on that right side here. So I stun mid. He's already pushed up on that right side lane. And then of course I see him. Like I said, easy Gulag win there. Now, by the time I'm back into this match, I land back. Lazy is still engaging this guy that ended up killing me over by that buy station. I grabbed the rover from the start of the game. Lazy knocks one of these guys, so there's only one left. This completely catches me off guard. I didn't expect him to have C4 this early on into the game. Lo and behold, he does. He's able to blow up my car and knock me, but Lazy, being a champion, ends up clutching up. He takes him out, and then I can get the easy res here. And just like that, we're back into the fight. Now, you notice we have 25 seconds left in this first zone, and somehow we have not been able to buy our own loadout yet. So at this point, we're relying on that free loadout that's going to come in here around the 15-second mark. So I pick up that enemy's weapons. Those guys actually ended up having their loadout already, so at least I get some decent customs. Luckily, in this case, it was an MP7. Then we go ahead and we get our free loadout there. So now that we have a loadout in the game, our go-to is let's get some UAVs. Let's get that information back up in there. And then, of course, because we do have our loadout, that's going to give us our custom weapons, the setups that we actually want to have. And so once again, things somehow, some way, ended up working out in our favor. Now, you'll notice here, I see that red dot in the top left. It says it's above me, so I assume this guy's falling in. I have this random PKM I picked up. I've got the MP7 from the guys we just knocked out. And then this guy, I believe, is going to come falling in from the sky over here by these loadouts, if I remember correctly. Yeah, there he is. So he's coming down in. This is a super easy kill. This guy really went for it there. Like, that's kind of an aggressive play, kind of a risky play, landing on the loadouts there, especially when you see there's one other with you. Now, at this stage, we're moving on into the second round here. We're actually being hunted. I'm being hunted. This guy's a medium level threat, so he's within 150 meters of me as well. We see this truck light up red on the mini map, and that actually leads us to this other team. We didn't know if this was the guys in the truck. We didn't know if this was a different team. Luckily, I believe it was, and the truck just glitched out, but Lazy's able to knock that first guy on the roof. We had some nice team shots going on there. We see the other one is up top as well. At this stage, we're basically assuming they are going for the res. That'd be my first reaction there. I want to get my teammate back up in this fight. That way, we have that numbers evened out, since it is, of course, duos. At this point, I obviously see that go to a threat level midnight, as we like to call it. That means they're right on top of us. They're within 75 meters, I believe. And Lazy's down on the ground fighting this guy who jumped off, the original guy that we knocked. Luckily, though, he sort of tried to disengage there after he knocked Lazy. Either wanted to heal up or go for his buddy, and I was able to swoop in behind and actually clean that kill up. And then, as we're sitting here rezzing, things somehow go awry even more. We see this SUV pop up in our mini-map here, and he's pretty much going full steam ahead. He's coming right at us. Luckily, though, I got the C4. This is my go-to situation here. I'm able to actually blow up that car. They jump out, and then he's chucking C4 at me. At least I got their car out of the way. That's a big advantage they have. This guy, I have no idea what he was doing. I knocked his teammate to the right there. Lazy actually calls out that they have self here because he ends up knocking that guy. So that was once again an engagement where somehow we had the disadvantage. We came out on top just because we got a little bit lucky. And then also just the plays thereof. We took away their power position, which was that vehicle. They jumped out at a really bad spot there. The first guy got out back on these hills here that I'm crossing over now. Then the other guy got out in the middle of the street. That guy in the middle of the street, fortunately for me, didn't see for me. If he would have done that, I go down. That's probably the end of the game for us, just because now Lazy's got the disadvantage with the numbers there. Luckily, though, I was able to knock him. Lazy was able to knock the other guy, call out the self before they got up, and we were able to get out of that one as well. But as you guys can sort of tell as we're going through this, we got 11 kills. There's 50 left, so it's not a super huge lobby considering we're not even to zone 3 yet. There's only 50 people left outside of us. And so I'm not anticipating a super high kill gameplay. Things have been non-stop crazy pretty much throughout this entire match. We've had some really awkward engagements, so we're sort of trying to regroup here. Basically, just make sure we have enough materials to get through the later stages of the game. We want to have enough armor. We want to have the ammo. We see this guy come in with a helicopter here. We're not too sure what exactly he's doing. Lazy's able to end up knocking that guy down there, though, and he goes ahead and finishes them. But then we have another team out here that's also sort of third-partying in the background. They're on top of the apps over here, and basically this moves us into a new engagement. And something that's happened throughout a lot of this game is that we keep getting into engagements on accident, which At times, if you're going for high kill gameplays, that's awesome. You want to have those engagements nonstop. At other times, though, it can be really hard to try and stay on top of all the information that you want to have, location, numbers, weapons, all sorts of stuff like that, when you're constantly fighting a team in front of you, behind you, left and right. So as much as it is fun to be in those chaotic engagements, your main focus in these situations here is you want to try and regroup as much as you can and make sure you have your comms going and talking about who you're fighting and when. The more you're going to try and disadvantage yourself and put yourself into 2-on-1 fights where, say, you're trying to split. If we have a team behind us, I'm focusing them. We have that team over on apps over there. Lazy's focusing them. That's 2-on-1 situations. Then if one of us goes down in that situation, that's now, at times, it can be a 3-on-1, a 4-on-1, depending on how exactly those teams converge. So sort of just balancing yourself out like that is going to be really, really important. So as we're approaching dealer here, we know that we got a bounty here. Now that icon is originally on the other side of that building. So this guy comes up on this left side here. I was not anticipating that whatsoever. Really caught me off guard. And then somehow he just gets those extra shots at me. I wasn't sure if his teammates shot me as well, but if you notice in that gunfight, I ended up breaking that guy's armor, and that's my first call to Lazy. Is that guy's broken, the ghillie's broken, and so Lazy's able to swoop in. He knocks that first guy who was super weak, and then, like I said, I had no idea where that second guy was. He was able to pick him off, though. It looked like they were actually running the same skins, which, I'm not gonna lie, is not a bad strat whatsoever. As we're talking about information throughout so much of this video, when you're sitting there running the same skins, that can actually really confuse enemies. If they're trying to call out skins like I oftentimes like to do, hey, there's a Wyatt pushing right side of the building, there is a ghost skin, you know, up top. That's going to help my teammates sort of gather that and be able to process that as well. It just sort of gives us that tactical advantage in that sense. But when everybody's running the same skin, if you call out that there's a ghost skin running right and then suddenly there's a ghost skin running left, that's going to kind of throw everybody off, you know? This is another one of the situations where, just super unfortunate, we go in to buy some UAVs, get geared up, and these guys are just posted. They're up here waiting. I believe those were the same guys from apps that are sort of shooting at Lazy right now. And so that was just sort of everything went wrong. Was not anticipating it whatsoever. Lazy, though, was able to somehow survive those shots from top apps. He buys me back right away, which as soon as somebody goes down, our first priority is how are we able to get them back in the fight. The numbers are everything in these kinds of games here, especially in duos where 2v1, it's going to be a tough battle, especially if you're in those sweatier lobbies like we typically are with the higher KDs and whatnot. So at this point, Lazy's able to buy me back. He ends up getting finished though, and I know that's two fully geared players that have that advantage. One was up top on app, so he's got the height like no tomorrow. Then we also have that guy who was closer who initially knocked me. I want out of that. I don't have any guns at this point. As you guys can see, I'm scavenging. Luckily, I was able to find a Bruin. I found a lot of these this game somehow, but I land back. I don't want to be anywhere near those guys. I don't know if you guys have noticed this throughout the season, but it seems like scavenger contracts are few and far from pretty much after the first wave of the game. So when you're landing back from your ghoulie, if you end up getting bought back and you're trying to go for a scav, which is always my first instinct, I want to be able to get that loot, get that armor satchel, then get that cash out of that as well. Unfortunately, in this case, they were all gone. They always seem to be gone by these stages in the game, but my next best option, because it is duos here, is to try and go for that supply run contract. In duos, if you can get that one free buyback, your entire team is then back into the game. But luckily, I'm able to find this legendary crate, and I end up getting that $4,000+. I actually end up picking up the supply run just for the heck of it. But luckily, like I said, I'm able to get that 4,000 plus cash. I can then go back in and actually buy back Lazy. Now, here's a bit of a throwback. If you guys remember earlier on in the gameplay when we're running around this hangars area, we ended up killing that one squad who blew me up out of that rover. They grabbed their loadies back where Lazy just was, and some of their weapons were left over. So we don't have a loadout coming in for a hot minute here. We're still waiting on the 4th zone to come in and collapse. So we know we're not getting our loadie. There's no shot we're getting our loot back from Super over there. We've got zone coming in. We got to go pretty far to the left here. Luckily, we had some leftover weapons from that previous loadout that was in the middle of hangars, so Lazy's able to land back. He's able to get those, and that's going to set us up at least a little bit. It's better than pistols at this point. Anything would be. And now we're once again at a reset stage, and this is where the games can be really tough. You've gotten some kills, you had your loot, you end up getting taken out, and somehow, some way, you make it back into the game where, the very minimum, you're alive, you've got a couple of weapons that can shoot back, but it's not a super great scenario. You don't have the weapons you want, you don't have the positioning or the armor or really anything that you want to have in this stage of the game where we're in the 4th zone. There's 30 left. At this point, you can assume everyone is geared out, everyone has their customs, so your back is kind of against the wall. We see these guys on this hill here. Gonna keep it a buck. This is probably not the smartest engagement. Like I said just now, we're at the disadvantage. These guys are rotating in. They probably have cash. They probably have good armor. They probably have good weapons. Pretty much just assume that everybody else is equal to or better than what you have. That's never gonna give you that overconfidence and then make you feel dumb if you end up going down. But this is a really risky engagement just because we have no cover in this area here. They have the high ground. We don't have ideal weapons. I'm sitting pretty low on armor. If these guys end up knocking me down anymore, I'm going to run out of armor. Lazy, though, somehow swoops in yet again and ends up taking out both of them. But before they go down, they actually cluster Lazy, and they end up knocking him here. And this is once again where things end up going so terribly wrong. I want to go ahead and res Lazy here, but then we got another team, another third party. This is like the 18th one this game. They're back here in this gas station area. They got snipes. They're shooting at us. They knock off all my armor. And then as I go back to recuperate to make sure we don't get completely knocked out of the match, they end up finishing Lazy. This is now a situation where I really shouldn't be challenging whatsoever. This is 110% an ego chow, right? They hit me. I have no armor to replenish. And as we pause it here, you guys can see there's plenty of loot on the ground here that this is my immediate attention now. Yes, these guys are shooting at me in the back. I don't know how good of a shot they are. They've obviously tagged me. I don't have any armor to refill whatsoever. My priority now is to try and get whatever I possibly can out of these loot piles and then get over to the zone ASAP. So as we go ahead and we play this here, I'm able to grab that ammo off of that body. And then I don't believe I'm able to grab any of these satchels. Honestly, my initial reaction here is to just get whatever I can as fast as I can. If I miss it, I miss it. I want to make sure I stay alive. Luckily, that guy in the back there didn't hit that headshot. He just broke my armor, and I was able to get a few plates out of that. That way, I could actually refresh back to full. Then I have 2 left over here. And now, like I said, my goal is to try and get to zone. I don't want to go to the left side here. This is a big thing with rotations. I know those guys have that power position once again on that left side. If I were to try and cross that, I'm going over the bridge. I'm going through the ravine. That's 2-on-1. That's not a situation where I'm probably coming out whatsoever. So I need to get my butt all the way over to the right side of the map here where I have a little bit more cover. I see this zone's going to be taking up part of downtown and part of hospital. I can't get over the geo here for whatever reason. So at this point, I know that loadout's chalked as well, right? That loadout goes to probably the worst possible place it could have gone. I needed that to land way closer to hospital. It lands, I believe, like right in the middle of the ravine or right in the middle of the street over where those guys were just previously shooting at me from. So I know in my mind, I can't get that loadout. And that to me is pretty much saying, I'm going to be at a huge disadvantage here. I sneak up on these guys though, right? I break armor on that first car shot. I thought it should have been a headshot, but sometimes you hit those and it just doesn't go your way. And now I'm in this position where I've angered them. I probably should have just let them be. Just because it's a 2-on-1 edge zone. I'm going to be fighting these guys as zones coming in. I'm missing all my car shots because I'm an absolute bot, right? So now I'm trying to disengage. I want to heal up. I'm really hoping that these guys don't push me here because they're going to have the high ground. They obviously have the numbers. And we also have zone coming in on my back too. So it's forcing me to push up. For whatever reason, this guy completely loses me. Italian Stallion, I don't know what you were doing. He lost me entirely. I was able to pick him off and finish him. Then his teammate on the right there, I didn't see. Lazy actually called him out to me here. And zone's coming in, so he shoots me. He breaks my armor. He probably assumes I'm going to back off, try and heal up. Little does he know, I can't heal up. Everything is going wrong once again. I don't have any armor to help me here. My back is as against the wall as it could possibly be. So I'm just shooting to shoot at this point. If I kill him, I kill him. Hooray for me if I don't. At this point, I have nothing to lose. No customs, no armor, no money. I have nothing. Now, I see this guy back in the zone. I actually couldn't tell if he was in the gas and getting hurt or if he was in front of it. That angle is really hard just with how the gas appears in game. And so I don't know his exact positioning and how much he's going to have to play aggressive to get away from that zone. And then I also don't know if he's got a teammate. And as we'll see here in just a second, he's got the riot shield. So obviously I'm not hitting that shot. He's crouched. I have no way to actually tag him whatsoever. But as you'll see here, as I turn away from this, there's actually another guy coming up in the back. And I couldn't figure out if this guy was with the riot shield guy, if he was not with the riot shield guy, if that was the riot shield guy that just picked up a different weapon. So I'm not too sure about the status of anybody over on that side of the map. And now they're in a nasty heady in that ravine. They're also closer to the zone. And as we can see here, what do I have to cross to? Downtown. One of the worst places to finish any game, no matter the situation. If you have good guns, if you have good money, downtown is never a fun place to be late game because it's just so vertical. There's so many different spots that a player could be hiding there, under, over, you name it. They're going to be all over the place. So my situation here is I got to try and stay back on this side as much as I can, considering I don't have anything in my favor. No armor, no money once again. I have these guys on the right side. They're going to have to move a little bit, and I'm right here on the very, very edge of zone. I threw that trophy out just in case they were going to try and push me on this right side with any nades or anything like that, and I was hoping that maybe that would at least keep me alive a little bit longer. But luckily, where this zone is and with this placement, I'm able to be right on the very, very edge of the zone in this little heady area here behind this brick wall. And of course, with having no armor, if I get shot by a sniper, I'm pretty much dead no matter what. So even if I'm in this heady, if I get shot, it's probably GG, game over for me anyways. I don't really have anything to lose sitting here in this head glitch. So I'm going to try and hold down this position as much as I possibly can. And once again, I get very fortunate with where this zone ends up. It actually favors me a bit here compared to some of those guys back in downtown, because if it would have gone over there, I would have had to cross through this ugly mess that is this ravine and those buildings right there. So Fortunately for me, it's pretty much dead center in the middle of this ravine here. I don't have to move too much to be in safe, but as you guys can see here, this is all wide open. This is the last place I want to be with no armor, no teammate, nothing, bad weapons as well. I don't want to be anywhere near this area, but looking out to where the zone is, I pinged that to see how far into the zone that actually was. That's always something I try and do. If I'm not exactly sure where an enemy's going to have to move from, if they're in the zone, if they're safe, if I know their general position, I can try and ping that area. And then obviously if it's inside the ring, they're safe. I know they're probably going to hold that position. If they're not, they're going to move. In this case, I just wanted to know if that little area in the ravine there was safe to move to, because that's about the only cover I'm going to possibly get to here. So I see that's safe. My initial instinct is to go right for that. So I'm making my way downtown. I'm walking fast. And then suddenly, as I'm pushing up to this king here, I'm like, well, he might be a solo, because if you're a king at this stage in the game, things probably aren't going right for you. This guy shoots me in the back. Luckily, he kind of had some potato aim. I'm able to turn on him and I knock him somehow. This guy, though, I have absolutely no idea how I knocked this guy on the left. As you guys can see there, if I rewind this a bit here, let's see if I can get this engagement right. As I'm sitting here, I see this guy. Luckily, I flick to him. He doesn't initially see me. This is actually the king now that I realize it. But how I kill him here, I don't know, because those are my bullets right there. Either I had like a little bit of lag. Honestly, I don't know how I was able to knock this guy as I'm moving back down behind this little head glitch here. But once again, somehow, some way, I'm able to do it. So I knock him and suddenly like, oh, okay, I'm kind of making some plays. Lazy's in the background gassing me up. We queue back into this though, and I got this riot shield guy here. I break his armor somehow, but this is a nuisance, right? Because I initially thought he was going to have C4. This is an engagement that I don't understand. I don't know how I was able to do that. This man had a riot shield. He was crouched. I was kind of panicking because I didn't have much ammo here. I only have 6 shots left in my Bruin after I kill him there. So I'm like, I can't fight him with the car. I have to try and kill him with the Bruin. And then it just played into my favor here where I'm able to actually run up on him. If he has C4 there, I'm probably dead because I'm already like no health down there. He has a throwing knife. So this man's really trying to do something out here. I respect it. But I'm able to break his armor initially. I get behind him here. Whenever I'm fighting a guy with the riot shield, I always want to try and jump to his sides. This is even better to do with like an MP5 or a faster moving weapon than the Bruin. If you can get to their sides, they're unprotected. It's a pretty easy kill most of the time. But in this situation, I'm able to flush him. I'm like, okay, I know this guy is weak. I was really hoping those shots were going to hit. The gas mask, of course, comes in and messes everything up. Luckily, he only hits me once. I was able to regen, and I somehow punch him. I have no idea how it happened. Now, once again, though, we get out of that. I have 0 time to react. I wish it was like this in the game where I could pause everything for a second, take a couple of deep breaths, because things are about to get even spicier. This is actually the guy that I knocked back when I was running through the ravine. And so I go ahead, I finish him there. It doesn't actually show a team wipe initially for me. I believe that team wipe in the kill feed was for those 2 guys, but in the top right, you saw it go from 5 to 4 there. That's something I always try and pay attention to, especially if it's like, well, we knocked 2, we finished them. Is that a team wipe? If you can pay attention to that top right, even if they have self where it won't always alert you in the kill feed or with the audio thing. If you notice that team count drop down, then obviously that's a team wipe. You're good to go on to the next. So I wiped them. It is now a 1v3. That is 2 teams versus me here. And they sort of come out here. I believe they both come out of this right side. So they're all riding zone here. I don't know what they have. I don't know where they are until they start firing at one another. I get really fortunate that they start engaging one another and not me. My initial reaction here as I sort of rewind through this is, I want to get my Bruin reloaded. This is my only hope at this stage in the game. I know I'm outnumbered. I know I'm out health. I know I'm outgunned in pretty much every way I could possibly be. That car is completely obsolete at this point. It's not going to win me any gunfights when the zone is this close and we're all right pretty much on top of each other. So my initial reaction here is to try and reload this Bruin. Luckily, there's a bit of cover here and these guys start fighting. They take each other down. That gives me at least another second of breathing room where I can finish this reload, and they're probably gonna go and try and loot that guy a little bit, try and get his armor and whatnot. That buys me that second that I need to end up knocking that guy in the back. Now, of course, he's gonna call it right away. He's in front of you. They know exactly where I'm at. Doesn't help that I have a Bruin that doesn't have a suppressor. This is why we stand the monolithic suppressor, folks, because it hides you on the radar. But this guy knows exactly where I'm at. Once again, I'm out health, I'm outnumbered, I'm outgunned. I knock him, he's up. He's already ADSing at me. So this guy already has the advantage, right? His teammate's down in the back. He's in front of me. He knows exactly where I'm at. I go to shoot at him. My first shot ends up breaking his armor here. And I'm going to play this back in full so you guys get like the real-time speed. Don't worry. But I break his armor here on this first shot. And now my reaction is to, I got to just hope that I can somehow try and wallbang him and hit him through this as I'm crouching back down, because I see him. I wanted to duck here. I wasn't sure if I was going to break his armor, if I was even going to hit him. Luckily, I do. So as I go through this, I end up breaking his armor. And as I'm crouching, I end up actually killing him and winning the game. So as we go back through this full speed, let's actually go all the way back to where I got this engagement here, because everything kind of popped off in this second. This guy shoots me in the back. He gets all the smoke in the world. I end up knocking him. Shout out to that guy's poor aim, because that absolutely saved the game. This is the kill that I still don't understand how I got. Then we got Riot Shield Boy here. Thank you for not using C4. Once again, you also saved the game. Like I said, nothing should have gone right here, but somehow it did. So we're able to punch him. Still find that hilarious how I punched the Riot Shielder. This guy's down. Easy finish on this left side. I probably didn't even need to do that, but hey, we did it anyways. Actually, now that I think about it, he had self. So we go in for the reload. We got the cover. Shout out to these guys for fighting first, not fighting me. We knock the guy in the back. And then this guy, luckily, I break his armor. I wallbang him a little bit. And that's game. And that's GG. Like I said, probably my best game of Warzone today, just because the odds were against Lazy and I pretty much the entire game. We had the wild landing in the middle of the street. We got pretty much reset in wave 4 when we lost to those guys at Superstore. And then we had no customs, no armor, no money, nothing. And it was only me alive throughout the entire end of the game. So for us to come back and actually win that there, I found it to be pretty impressive. I feel like that sort of boosted myself, tooting my own horn there a bit. But I'm not too sure how I did it. But I was so happy that we were able to come away with that dub, because we probably shouldn't have. So there you have it. That is essentially what's going through my mind when I'm playing Warzone, when I'm going through games, when I'm going through engagements and all things of that nature. Hopefully this wild and chaotic gameplay that we had sort of helped you guys understand how to approach certain rotations, how to try and play with your back against the wall there, what you want to watch out for, what you want to be careful of, and pretty much how you want to go about playing for that win at the end of the day. Of course, if you guys enjoyed the video or if it helped you out, be sure to let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you guys are new to the channel, you want to stay up to date with pretty much everything going on in the world of Call of Duty, this is the place to be, so feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. This was also a really different style of video, obviously, compared to the normal content, so sort of wanted to test the waters with it and see how exactly you guys like it. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, be sure to let me know down in the comments below. But once again, thanks so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.